My name is Donte Hayes. I'm 44-year-old. I'm from Baltimore City, East Baltimore, Lafayette Projects. Coming from Lafayette Projects is pretty much the run-of-the-mill life for the average family at that time. We didn't have anything, we didn't have much. Free lunch, grandmother trying her best to be the mother figure. Mom was out with her friends, trying to figure out life. In her addiction, she trekked us through East Baltimore. We lived in abandoned homes, which I was actually taken from her, from one of those homes, and I was introduced to the system. Being taken from my mom, I think it was the best decision that my aunt could have did when she called CPS. But as a kid, not understanding what that call meant, I felt like my world ended. I remember these two white women, they pulled up in a car, and they just simply asked us if we wanted to go for a ride. And my sisters followed me, I said, yeah. And we got in the car. As soon as we got in the car, the doors locked behind us. All of us got on our knees and looked out the back window and started crying for our mom. My mom had came to the door pretty much around the time that we started crying for her. And I could just see her mouth and the words, "Bring my babies back." They took us to a place called Kennedy Krieger. And I had no idea that that would be the last day that I saw my mom. I think the refuge for me became my anger. It became isolation. It became not wanting to speak to anybody because I just didn't know how to fathom or just conceptualize what was going on in life. Ultimately, growing up in a juvenile system and all kinds of group homes, and then ultimately in prison, I didn't think I would make it out of prison. So Another Man's Trash, it came about when I still was incarcerated. I was in my sociology class. I think I was a junior at the time. And I believe in that class, we was talking about African Americans in the areas that we live in, the negative impact that areas that's inundated with trash have on our health. So as I was sitting in class, I said, so how do we figure out how to preserve life? Because ultimately, Another Man's Trash isn't about business. It's about preserving life. It's about showing residents that we can clean up our own areas, to live in our own areas, and provide job opportunities to do that. I want East Baltimore to look just like Fells Point. I want East Baltimore to look like Federal Hill. I want it to look like Canton. Just when you're clean, you feel better about yourself. When you clean out your house, you just feel good. So what about when you clean up your community? In the Second Chance program, outside of the class hours, I would sit and talk to the professors and the volunteers that would come in. And I would ask them about sending in research, sending in a template of what a business plan looked like. I had never seen what a business plan actually looked like. I started to get research sent in, and I would every single day put as much information in that plan as honestly as I can from the data points that I was given and then from my lived experience. I started my prison sentence in maximum security. And so you don't just level down, you absolutely have to go through the phases. It took a lot because the trust that was being placed in me to leave prison, to go to college, nobody had done it at that time. But going to school, I was given a job at the Korean Internship Center, a front desk receptionist. I had no idea what technology was, but I'm at the front desk, tapping on a keyboard, figuring it out in real time, watching videos on how to actually live. So as I'm working, I'm learning for the first time. After I go to work, then I'm gonna go to class. So being out in society with students that's out in the community, I just was sitting in class sometimes like, what am I doing here? I'm going to prison once this class is over. And that van would pull up, and I would get in that van with the cage on it, the cage all around the windows, got back on 295, back out to Jessup. One day I asked my supervisor if I could go to the business center. She said yes. And I went and I brought my physical version of the business plan that I had put together in 44 days. I went to the business center and I was in a room with a lot of business owners, professionals, professors, and Mr. Henry Mortimer, who actually runs the center there. When I was about to back out at the last minute, he wouldn't allow me. He said, no, you're gonna get up here, you're gonna tell us who you are, and tell us a little bit about your business. So after I did that, Miss Lindsay Ryan, who works at the University of Maryland Global Campus, she pulled me up and said, Donte, Jay Nowako want you to have his business card. I had no idea who that was, but I was so excited that somebody wanted to give me that business card. I sat in the lobby and I looked him up and I emailed him. That took 15 minutes to do that. No one knew that I was in prison at that point. But ultimately, I wrote a letter from prison saying who I was. that I was in the process of writing a book titled Concrete Footprints, the steps that cemented my identity. And I told them that when I'm free, I'll be much more than a business. I'll be much more than an author, that I'm gonna be the change that my community needs to see. Innovation Works has been by my side since work release, while I still was incarcerated. Our relationship has led to a grant that went towards the purchase of this truck that I'm sitting in. This was the ideal truck that I actually wanted. On my Instagram business page, the first reel that I ever posted was a version of this truck. Everybody in Innovation Works that invited me to come to their offices and sit down, the Zoom calls that I've had, the text messages that I've had, hang in there, you got it, stay focused, all of those things, it really mattered. That mattered the most because I believed that they cared about me, and I know that they care about me. And I think that's the defining factor of why they stand out the way that they stand out, because they really are in the community and they really are for the people. I had an epiphany one day sitting in that cell, and I realized that life mattered. Everybody's life has a purpose and is important, even those that are incarcerated. So many kids that are walking the way that I walk, they have no idea that the road ends at the graveyard or prison cell. And it's no life for a human being. No human should be in a cell. And so out here in society, giving it my all, even if I feel like I don't have the energy to take another step, I'm gonna take another step. Even if my legs are broken, it's that important to keep going.